boys, there's this development in Ghana. The hottest news in Ghana now is the judgment that came out concerning Evangelist Mama Pat, aka Agrada. I decided to hold on a bit and then delve more into the issue so that I'll be able to get you the nitty-gritties of everything. And here is the case. You see, Agrada started off as a spiritualist. Here we refer to such people as fetish priestess, in her case as a female. And she had a lot of issues because there was so much noise about when she was a spiritualist as fetish priestess, as Mama Agrada or Mami Agrada or Komfo Agrada, so to speak. There were a lot of issues about something she called Sikagare, which means it was kind of a scheme designed to, as it were, if you bring a specific amount, the Sikagare, which is a deity, according to her, will double whatever amount that you bring to her shrine. And people fell for this. A lot of people fell for this. That was in the news. And so there were a lot of issues where people went and never got what they wanted. Yes, people went and never got what they wanted. Fast forward, the same person who claims a fetish priestess now metamorphosed or transitioned into a Christian evangelist or pastor or woman pastor, what people will call woman pastor. And so she went and bought a church that was being operated by an old fellow who was not benefiting from that church, if you ask me, because it's obvious if you have something coming, you wouldn't sell it out. So he sold that building to this fetish priestess who has changed, in quote, changed. Now she, occupied this very space and started operation from there. She's now a changed Christian. Yeah. So we saw a lot of information coming from her angle, now preaching about Jesus Christ, now preaching about Jesus Christ, now preaching about Jesus Christ. But don't forget that she's already having issues about her former being when she was, let me say, a fetish priest, a spiritualist, consulting deity for that matter, who has changed. So the issues there were waiting for her. No crime does not expire, so it was waiting for her. Now, Agrada is always in the news. She's always in the news. People want to trouble her. She wants to trouble people. She's that kind of person. She's not somebody who keeps quiet over things. No, she would come at you. If you decide to go at her, she will come at you. It has now gotten to a point where just recently, she advertised, what is going to happen in her church, that if you bring particular amount, she's going to distribute money, which seemed to me like what she was doing before. This is where most of our guys have not looked at. When she was doing that Sikagari, you bring money and it is doubled. Now she brings a physical cash to the church that if you bring this amount, or first of all, you need to give offering to God, to her, to God. You understand what I mean? You need to donate, give offering to God. Before, when the people go to the church, this was now, if before you be able to access that money in the box where she's going to distribute to everybody, you need to make some offering to God, because nothing comes easily. And now we use fish to fish for fish. You understand what I mean? We use fish to fish for fish. So therefore, you need to, part with something to be able to access that, box loaded with money. People fell for it again. They went and, what now has to happen is that you need to give something before you access that money. Okay, fine. If I am going to give whatever I have to be able to access a greater amount of money, why not? So people started, giving what has to, they have in their purse, wallet, what have you, and they just did that. And lo and behold, the whole church activity came to an end. Afterwards, we saw people wailing in front of the church outside that what she promised them, she didn't deliver. She's not giving them any money. After they have given whatever they brought from their homes to her, she's not giving them any money. Anyway, not knowing there's already an issue that she's been, attending in court. She has a court case that she's going to court almost every day. What we heard in the midst of this was that this pastor has been convicted to 15 years in prison. And it became a big news. Yes, still it is, because people are still talking about it. And that's why we are here. Became a big news because, how on earth? Because when people were pushing or thought this woman could have been in prison or whatever, it's been long. So that is another sect or section of the population thinking that no, this woman ought to have gone, because you mostly hear about her. But everything went silent until this day. So coincidentally, this also happened, that the woman has been sentenced. How? How did that happen? Not knowing. I see. Let's look at even her accounts for the judgment to be passed. This is it. Charlatanic advertisement, meaning advertising to the public what cannot be offered at the end. So it means you are being deceived. You are being deceived. The other count is that defrauding by false pretense. Knowing clearly that you are saying something to trick the person to get something of value from the person. And so this is the judgment that has seen the woman being sent to the prisons for 15 years. Now, this is the keys. There are certain sections of the public who think that number of years is too much. 2, there are people who think that she's a woman who take off her kids. There are certain sections who are also saying that, is there not any other punishment for this woman, because they think that she doesn't deserve to be in the prisons. Come on. But the other side of the coin is that the law must also protect the citizenry. Because there are many of us who are vulnerable. Even in spite of all the history surrounding her transition from one position to another, being metamorphosed from a spiritualist, a fetish priestess, to a woman pastor, people still forgot about it and fell for this new, advertisement that took place in her church and went for it and still went. So you can see that a greater number of, the citizenry are still vulnerable to some of these things. So if we do not also have the law backing the vulnerable, guys, we don't know where we'll be heading to. It means anybody, anywhere can just do this kind of stuff, keep on defrauding, and then nothing happens. This is another, view of the whole thing. Let me know what you also think. Don't you think that the law must protect the citizenry from this kind of, acts or actions from certain people? Or you think everything should just be left like that? That because of who she is, because of the fact that she's a woman, because of the fact that she's an old person, because of the fact that she's this and that, everything should be relaxed. Let me know what you also think in the comment section. Thank you. This is Authentic Plus TV. Can you subscribe to the channel? Thank you.